Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss a massive Bitcoin buy coming out of Jack Mailer's 21 Capital, trying to compete with MicroStrategy there. We're going to talk about some big moves in the SWE ecosystem. Saw some big news over the last 12 hours there. And we're going to talk about the latest runners in a hot meme and altcoin season. Some things are heating up. I'm curious to see how Kix is feeling about this. I'm joined this morning by Easy and Kix. Kix, it's been a little bit of time since we've talked. How you feeling? How you been living? You're muted, but...
Oops. What's up, dude? Doing very good. Had an awesome weekend.
You have your brain setting on.
Fuck. What's up, dude? Doing great, man. Had an awesome weekend. Great start to the week. Crypto's been booming, been making some plays, making some money. Little bummed that overnight my RIPVC went to 7.5 million, but these bozos dumped it down to 3.6. That's the game, though. That's okay. I'm still in it. But yeah, dude, it's a great time to be in crypto, holding ETH, making moves.
Thanks for that play. I'm actually one of the bozos who dumped it at 7. I apologize.
No, it went there and then it went down, then it went back up. It almost went to 8.
Damn.
And it went back down. But I still believe, dude. I think it's gonna either be worth $0 or it's gonna be a big one. And I'm willing to take the risk financially.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one. For anyone who's looking for context, can you send me that ticker again? I want to
Are you in my F&F group? There you go. I'll make an exception for you.
Okay.
But it's $9.99 a month usually. But yeah.
Ray, you shared this ticker yesterday.
After Kick shared it with me.
Oh, okay.
He shared it? Thank you, Easy, for being honest about where the leaks are. I'll take care of that.
No problem. Yeah, you got to patch those.
So this is basically an old coin that was launched a while ago by Ben Pasternak from, was it Clout? Or no, it was launched on Believe.
Yeah.
And he said it was called like RIPVC. And it basically died. And then I guess the thought process is, I guess, like long term is just like the fart coin to Launchcoin, essentially, like the meme coin that isn't like the utility coin.
Yeah, it's a meme coin on a non-meme coin platform for businesses. That's not equity, it's meme coins. But it's not a meme coin, but this is a meme coin on the non-meme coin platform. Also, RIPVC looks great in hats. I put Ben Pasternak in a hat that says RIPVC on it. So anyways, but we're not chilling here on the show. That's disrespectful to our audience. So let's get into it, man. Let's talk, dude.
Yeah, we have lots to talk about. I'm pretty excited. Markets are ripping. We're seeing internet.
I just know that Easy guy absolutely made a shit ton of money off of Launchcoin. I'm straight as a whistle, but fuck, if that guy was gay, I'd be tempted.
Yeah, what are you saying, Ray? Sorry, I got distracted.
So if anyone's just listening on Spaces, this is Kix's brain. If you couldn't tell, he is not talking. This is his brain thinking. He's actually shooting his thoughts directly.
Yeah, I didn't say anything.
Yeah, he didn't say anything there. I can't wait for this show. Bachelor Society says we're all gay for Easy. Yeah, a lot to talk about. We saw like the extreme run of all these tokens. Easy, were you trading any of these yesterday? I know we talked about on the show. We're gonna keep our eyes out. I didn't trade any of the launches yesterday, but did you,
I traded a bunch of them. I've just been trading this like hyper aggressively. Band, a few others. Band was like the main one I traded yesterday. I traded that RIPVC.
Bands will make her dance. What are you using? Are you using a dashboard?
To be honest, I actually kind of like Believe Screener and that thing that Believe.ultra, that one, ultra.believe, whatever the second one is. There's like two of them, but Believe Screener is good for the higher market cap ones because I think those are the ones I'm more interested in. Like you look at Band is up to a 1.6 mil market cap, up 114% in the last 30 minutes. Up 14%, sorry, 14% last 30 minutes and 80% in the last 24 hours. Stuff like that is more interesting to me because I can buy in to stuff that's existing if the team's still talking about it. I traded this coin Subi as well from like 300K, 400K. It's at 1.2 mil. It just got the Pasternak retweet. So you got some like stuff like that. That's like obviously bullish catalyst. But my big thing and what I said to Clemente right now is like, honestly, either you buy into a new launch that you can get in sub 200-300K that seems legitimate. The hardest part is how legit is it? Because there's so many LARPs and so much BS. It reminds me of the AI meta pretty much to a T.
Yeah.
But like there's just apps now instead of AI agents. So Clemente commented on something today, and what I said was, if you're trading this, I would take it in a different approach. I would basically wait right now for stuff to pull back. Basically, a lot of this stuff, like we should realistically have a pullback in a couple days, if not today, on like some of them. Besides some of the new coins, or stuff that gets like a production. Like none of these apps have actually integrated a token. The first one that does will fly. I'm interested in Noodle because that one seems like the clearest path to being able to integrate a token. I think that's interesting because they've like generated revenue off of this game already. But a founder that's still mentioning their token, a working product that's still being updated, and an actual way or a path to integrate the token. Like that's the stuff that I'm more interested in and kind of looking at the existing stuff. I don't really care if I miss it.
Yeah. I'm actually a complete boomer. I made a critical mistake here. Getting in too early. I got in on the way down, missed Easy's call on the wave up. So I made some good trades, but didn't have the size I wish I had. But I'm a boomer using the actual Believe app, which is terrible. It's one of the you can't find anything. There's only like 7. There's basically a 5 coin featured section, and then you just see new coins. But when it was pumping at like 80 million, I sold some of my launch and I went and bought other coins. Like Alex Finn has a coin. I bought Creator Buddy. I bought Sketch. I just threw profits in a bunch of other stuff, and they all pumped, but Launchcoin pumped pretty much the same amount. You know what I mean? Like I could have just held it in Launchcoin the whole time. I don't think I would have made any more money. So the app's not where it's at, but I'm assuming they'll make the app better. But yeah, the app's not where it's at. You got to use one of these like screeners to catch the new launches. Like anything that gets listed on here, like they just listed reply guys. And I mean, that's already up. I think these things are like getting on the app slower than they're getting on the screeners. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So don't use the app. Don't be like me. And dude, also the app doesn't even have, like, you can't sell 100%. You have to type in the value. So like if you have $1,000 in a coin, you have to type in $1,000, and then the transaction fails if it goes down by like 0.1% because you don't have that much money in the coin anymore. So I have like 7 coins that I have less than $1 in because I couldn't sell the whole thing. So definitely don't use the app right now.
Easy. What's the screener website you're using? Believe Screener. Like where's that link?
This is, I just sent in the private chat. It's literally just called BelieveScreener.com.
Yeah, BelieveScreener.com. Easy enough. I'll share it there. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. So that's just like, okay, this is just looking at market caps. Interesting. So you can see bigger market caps on here. Do some due diligence, see what could potentially run. Interesting.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, I think some things can implement their token into the app, but I think most things they can't, right? Because like the people that are doing the furniture thing, right? Mm-hmm. They can't like let you buy furniture in the coin because
Dupe just helps you find duplicates. Like, there's ways that you can integrate the app to increase the number of searches you get, stuff like that. But like, I'm not a big fan of Dupe personally because I don't see an easy way to integrate it.
Or like a staking mechanism to get like premium access or something.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. That's why Dupe was hard for me to really understand. And when Dupe had flipped Launchcoin, I was like, yeah, Launchcoin's undervalued. Like, plain and simple.
Yeah, because if the company needs dollars and they take the coin, then they're just going to sell the coin as soon as they get it for the dollar.
Don't have the coin though. That's the thing. Most of them just earn fees because like when you launch the coin, there's no way for a dev to buy it unless they go into the market and buy it.
It's crazy to think about how like Racer and Friendtech kind of created this whole Launchpad meta with bonding curves, fees, creator fees, fees to the platform. Now it's the thing. Now it's the jam. I was just thinking about that yesterday. Racer was early, dude.
Yeah.
Real innovator.
Yep. Interesting to see. Nick, have you been trading any of these Believe tickers?
No, Ray, back to you. In terms, I was taking a look at it. There were so many launching that I was like, how am I going to make heads or tails of this situation here?
Yeah. Just own Launchcoin, Nick. And your hair looks great.
Thank you. I do own Launchcoin. I actually haven't sold most of it, primarily because I didn't invest enough. And so here we are, just hoping that it 5X's again, which I think would be a reasonable thing. You know, $1 billion seems like a regular old market cap for something like this.
Trading is tough. Trading is tough, man, because you either miss a trade, sell too early a lot of times, or don't put enough in, or lose money on a trade.
I didn't put enough in.
It's all good, dude.
So
yeah, I'm good.
I'm going to be borrowing money from Easy.
We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to have Kicks run through the weather report in a minute. But first, we're going to let you know this show is brought to you in partnership with BlockBet, blockbet.gg. You can sign up today. Go to our link, august.com/blockbet to sign up. We absolutely cooked on our last little outing here. Nick, you're about to add something?
Well, yeah, I thought we were brought to you by the CCP, but I guess I got confused. Go ahead.
BlockBet's been absolutely cooking on the block token. Anytime they win as the house for a single day this month, they're putting all of that net revenue into the token. May 12th buyback, $60,000 worth of cash going into the block token. They're continuing to support the block token. And in addition to that, all block token wagers get 20% back on losses. So if you're wagering in the block token, you're going to get 20% back. And they've been buying back the token to keep this price steady. So not a bad incentive if you're looking to maximize your betting investments. Looking over here, we're almost up to 3 SOL. This was down as low as 1 SOL on my account over here. I'm going to tap into a little NBA action and get Easy's opinion on some of these bets we can put in right now. What have you been feeling on NBA lately, Easy?
Knicks.
I mean, I do think the Knicks win.
Let's go.
You like Knicks money line?
I mean, it's impossible at this point without Jason Tatum. Like,
they're plus 148.
Pio seems to think that the odds are in favor of the Celtics here.
Well, the book has them in favor too. But dude, Tatum had 40, tore his Achilles, and I lost. I don't know.
Pio's out here throwing stats in the group chat, and I'm just gonna be like, bro, momentum's gone. I mean, like, yo, thoughts and prayers for Jason Tatum. You know, you hate to see something like that. But the worst case scenario is that the Knicks win this and then go back to play the Pacers again. Wait, who won last night? Was it the Pacers or Cleveland?
Pacers won.
Okay, so now they go back to play the Pacers, who beat them last season in the fucking playoffs.
I think the Pacers would beat them again.
Fucking bullshit, dude. We got to get rid of that team. Doesn't matter anyways, because the West division is just like literally like you can just watch a game and be like, oh, okay, yeah, they're gonna get wrecked.
The West is really good. I mean, the Nuggets and Thunder are really good. The Timberwolves are really good. Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. I got Timberwolves and Knicks tonight.
Okay, so T-Wolves. So maybe we parlay.
Yeah, let's do a little parlay action.
Wow, you're throwing $100 parlay?
It's got some skin in the game, Nick.
What's the payout on that?
$282.
Yeah, it's like 280.
It's not as good as I would hope.
2-team parlay. I mean, but the thing is,
the other one's a huge favorite.
Or a huge favorite, yeah. Yep. Yep. So we put a couple bets in. If you want to be betting alongside with us, you want to fade or follow us, go to bitdoggos.com/blockbet. Sign up today. Bet and block token, get 20% back on losses. They also accept all major crypto. Looking at the list here, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Doge, USDC, Tron, Block, Ton. I don't even know what. Oh, you can bet in Crown token. I didn't realize that. So that's the Solana token for what's that horse racing game?
It is photo finish.
Photo finish, Crown token, ETH, Bitcoin Cash, Ripple, Cardano, BNB, Bonk, USDT, Flow. Basically anything you want to deposit, you can wager on BlockBet. 20% cash back on Block token if you decide to go that route. We love working with BlockBet. We've had a ton of fun using this platform. It's been super simple. Great way to bet with crypto. That being said, let's kick things off.
Shout out to BlockBet for giving us money.
Yep, absolutely, Nick. Just get right to the point. And let's kick off this weather report, Kicks.
We should start doing every partnership like that. Yo, shout out to this company.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wednesday, May 14th, majors up on the day. Bitcoin hovering around 104, Ethereum 2,600, Solana at 180. Looking pretty good out there. Over the past 24 hours, we got some interesting news. Yuga Labs sold the CryptoPunks IP to the Infinite Node Foundation. Advisory council that has been put in place, led by OG CryptoPunks devs Matt Hall and John Watkinson, and also features Gordon Goner and Art Block Snowfro. CryptoPunks are up to a 47.5 ETH floor, just shy of 125 grand. Next up, it was a big day for Sui as Phantom and Backpack Exchange both rolled out Sui support to all users. Finance Alpha listed a pair of Sui tokens, including the Bluef Index and Hippo Meme Coin, which has gained over 30% to a $44 million market cap. Finally, Yak Mahler made his first big Bitcoin acquisition at 21 Capital, acquiring 4,800 Bitcoin worth $458 million. 21 is still trading under Cantor equity and is up over 6% pre-market today. That's it for the weather report. Back to you in the studio.
Excellent.
Excellent weather report there, Kix.
Thank you, Nick.
Yo, shout out again to the companies that give us money. Who gave us money today? BlockBet.
Shout out to BlockBet. We love
Not the CCP. I just want to be clear. A lot of people have been saying that I'm an agent in the CCP, and I just want to be very clear, make it abundantly clear that I'm not involved. I've never been to China. I've never been to a Chinese embassy. I never met with a guy named Wang. Never happened.
Well, where are these rumors coming from?
What's that?
Is this like a thing? Like, am I missing something here?
I'm just saying a lot of people have been saying that I'm an agent of the CCP, and I've had enough.
Okay. I didn't realize that was the case. I must be missing out on some sort of inside joke here. But we had a lot of news today. We saw the Yuga Labs news break.
It's not an inside joke, Ray. A lot of people are saying it.
All right. We saw the Yuga Labs news break yesterday at the end of the show. We talked about it briefly. We have Kix and Nick on today. Nick, or actually, Kix, you hold a punk still, right?
No.
Me?
Kix, don't you hold a punk?
No, he doesn't.
It's easy.
Only easy.
God, Ray's so stupid sometimes. Why would he ask a question like that?
No, I haven't owned a punk in a long ass time, dude. I own a V1 punk.
Yeah. As a V1 punk holder, how do you feel about this news?
I actually feel great because guess what? Punks OTC, like the goat of punks trading, said he wants to buy 50 V1 punks for 75 ETH.
Interesting. Why does he want to do that? What's going on there?
I don't know, dude, but the guy's a pretty fucking good trader.
Punks OTC. Let's check this guy out. He's the one Nick got fleeced with his punk for, right?
The one I bought from and the one I sold to.
Gotcha. So he wants V1 punks?
Yeah, he said he wanted to buy 55 of them for 75 ETH. Or 100, sorry.
Interesting. Huh. So I wonder if he's just like brokering this deal for somebody.
Could be.
So V1 Punks, if you're not familiar, is the collection that is now wrapped. It was basically there was like an error in the initial CryptoPunks contract where they had to like scrap V1 and then they went to like whatever's like the current Punks contract. So some people found those tokens and wrapped them. It probably has, I think it has like a very wonky distribution. Like some people held a ton of these, but they are holding a 2.8 ETH floor currently. So his offer to buy 100 for 75 ETH is interesting. I mean, it's well below floor.
It's kind of like a misprint. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Stand
sort of like
misprint.
where you can get people who are like real nerdy, like pushing up their glass and be like, "Wow, there's the original Punks." Eventually,
Like those guys.
Yeah, so you can see some stuff like that happen potentially. Saw a number of sales, a little maybe an inside information sweep here. Yeah, 3 days ago ahead of this announcement, but not a ton of action on V1 Punks. But interesting to see. Nick, you've been looking at Punks. Price continues to run up. I'm assuming now you're just like kind of sidelined. Not gonna buy here.
Hey, thanks for asking about that, Ray.
You're welcome.
Yeah, feeling great, man. Feeling pretty good.
We tried to get you to buy live on the show. We're not gonna dance around that one.
I'm not doing well on this, man. This one hurts. It hurts. I don't know which hurts more, not putting enough into Launchcoin or having let my punt go.
Probably both.
They both hurt.
Yeah, because if you put enough in Launchcoin, you could have bought a Punk, you know?
Well, I probably paid taxes on this gain, then lost money holding the ETH, then sold the ETH at the bottom. So this was just like a fucking disaster.
It's okay, dude, man. You can't win them all, you know?
Okay, Nick, stay humble. Yeah, you are up $1,000 per ETH token when you showed it on this show last, but you gotta stay humble.
Can't win them all, Nick. You gotta stay humble, man.
I don't even know what that's a reference for.
So we talked a little bit earlier about the different Launchcoin tokens and Believe. We saw some big SWE news. SWE continuing to cook. Phantom and Backpack both rolled out support. Backpack announced it this morning. Binance Alpha listing some tokens.
Ray, can we get a reset here? Can we get a reset?
Reset it, Nick.
What is the energy right now? What is the energy?
Give me the energy. Let's go.
We need positive energy here about what's going on in the market. Everyone's just fucking down in the dumps on this show.
I'm doing great.
Crypto's fucking pumping. Not today, but in general. A little bit of pullback at the tippy top. That's fine. You know, that happens. That's life. You got to survive. It's not like we just took a massive dump on these candles. They're looking quite strong, if I'm being completely honest. How long is it before oh my god, I almost shared my passport on the screen.
Oops, sorry. I was bringing up at the same time you were.
Oh my god, I can't
same chart.
see anything on the screen. I mean, this looks pretty good. This is looking mighty tasty. Put it in your mouth. Have a little chomp.
No, I'm bullish, Nick. I'm very bullish. I'm holding ETH. ETH is doing well. I'm holding Bitcoin. Bitcoin's doing well. I'm holding Ordinals. My Ordinals bags are up. Like everything's all gravy here.
Everyone's doing great by you, Nick.
Someone says I hate that Nick has some clutter in the back. It's taking me a month to move into this place. I don't even want to discuss it. It's been a fucking disaster.
What do you see here on the charts, Nick?
But hey, let's keep it positive.
What's the next level we're looking at?
I mean, Bitcoin's just got to break above this. We got to get above the 104,800. Easy. What's your level?
It's right there. Like literally right there.
A weekly close above that would be the highest close of all time.
Well, we needed to break above for this thing to break out. That's what
I got
we're waiting on.
104.1, 104.2.
Nah. So I'm gonna go up here 104.8, 811. This is. I mean, this looks really good-ish. We need.
It looks like we've rejected 3 times now.
Okay, but you got to reject in order to break out. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they say. You got to get rejected in order to come up. We didn't break up. I'm up. She broke.
I'm seeing resistance around. I think it could kind of soft go up to like 1086. Then we really needed to get some strength, pull everything else up.
Just
I mean-
Robinhood's the best chart in the entire world.
I mean,
Just saying.
it doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
What are the
Sol,
what?
80.
I mean, what? Oh, well, Soul's looking actually pretty good.
Yeah, Sol's over its line. ETH looks the best.
ETH either looks the worst or the best. There's no in between for ETH.
ETH never just looks okay. Either the thing looks like a hot ball of dumpster fire trash, or it looks good.
Hopefully,
See,
this
you're-
is not the one time where ETH pumps last and then everything dumps.
Your
That's
chart on
happened every other
Solana
time this cycle.
is different than mine.
That's fine. We're allowed to have differing opinions.
Where is mine? Who's on the stage? What the hell is going on?
I'm
here?
on the stage, buddy. Here you go.
Oh my god! Did that? Stop!
It's just you. It's only you doing it.
I didn't do it.
That was me.
This is the levels I have. So
Nice.
okay.
That's cool. Proud of you.
Well, this shows Solana more aligned with what,
And it
what
can
I'm
show a little bit
saying.
of energy. Crypto's pumping right now.
I'm more worried about my QQQ calls that I have open right now.
Hey guys, it's been a good show, man. Keep it up. I'll be back tomorrow.
See you, Nick.
Really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Nick just left.
Dude,
us.
that guy sucks. Like,
So
just sucks
low
the energy out of the room. Like,
God,
Oh,
dude.
hey,
Oh,
Nick.
wow. You missed one trade.
You heard everything we said.
he's here. So Nick, what are you buying then? Give us.
Who
give
added
us
me
your
in
out.
here?
Huh?
Who added me in here?
Ray,
Well,
did-
Not me.
I got sidelined on some stuff. I'm gonna be
oh, my
honest.
God. You didn't make money. That's so tough.
I'm basically up. So I have been adding to AVAX.
I like that.
AVAX is one of the more promising ones that I've been looking at.
Okay.
I think that we get another run up here. What? What's so funny?
Someone said you're low T and low E at the same time.
But my blood work shows otherwise. Check the records.
You need some vitamin D, dude.
Oh yeah.
I'm in Miami, bro. I ain't got no D problem. So let's talk about AVAX, which I have on screen here. This is, I think we get another breakout here. I'm very interested. It's been basically outperforming pretty much everything other than ETH has had a nice little run.
Great run by ETH.
I added a little bit of ETH. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, no.
I added a little bit.
I like it.
I was just pissed off. So
Got
I
a little
added,
rage buy at the top.
I added $7,500.
Hey, it's not bad, dude.
AVAX has gotten another 10, 15 grand. I'm thinking about spending a little more if this ship breaks above.
Well, Ray buy into strength play. I like it.
Always buying the strength.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. I'm gonna take off.
Great. Later, man.
Yeah.
Man, I can relax.
You can just feel the energy when he's gone. Just
Gosh.
return. So Kicks, what are you looking at here?
That was a great question. I really should answer it, but how could I pivot this and shill RIPVC instead? The coin created by Ben Pasternak that could be the fart coin of the internet capital market cycle.
I'm just trading around, looking at some things. I bought this coin called RIPVC, but I don't want to get too into that.
What made you buy it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Internet markets?
Someone on Twitter told me it was going to be the fart coin of internet capital markets.
It is kind of punny because it's like RIPVCs, but like, what about Gooncoin?
Yeah, no, I think people made a lot more money on that than.
You want to see something that hurts with Gooncoin? One sec.
Yeah.
That one was pretty bad, and then the other one was Startup. Those two both really, really, really hurt me. Oh my god, it's at 45 mil. Let me share my screen real quick. This one definitely hurts the most. So you see, how do I remove that? Add that to stage. All right, yeah, you see, I made 8.1 Sol on a 2 Sol buy.
Yeah.
Pretty good, right? Like 400%.
Yeah.
Let's zoom out. That was my average entry.
Oh,
55K.
Where did this launch?
The other night. I had 6.05 million tokens. So that would be equivalent to 1,540 Sol right now.
How much money is that?
1,540 times 180. We'd be looking at 277,000.
It's basically around 250.
Yeah, so I left 2 Sol to 250 grand on the table. That one really hurt. Yeah, that
is this on Believe, or is it just like a?
Oh, it was on Believe. It was on Believe.
Oh.
And then this was the other one. I actually lost 2.1 Sol on Startup. That ran to 11 mil, and I was in at 100K.
It's tough, man. You can't win them all, right? But you got to keep that healthy mindset, right?
No, I'm dead inside.
Easy kills this Launchcoin trade 2 days ago. Makes 2 trades, net winning, and he's dead inside. It's pretty wild.
Dude, that's the game, man. That's greatness, dude. You can never be content.
Launchcoin on a pullback, topped at 290.
Maybe just a little consolidation here.
Yeah, not really dropping into the lower fibs. I asked yesterday's Launchcoin to buy, even though it's ran so hard. I'm still considering getting in, but I just feel
it's
so
a buy
big.
like for where you like to buy for sure.
Well, there's no strength right now. Like we get a candle of strength, maybe.
But I'm confused. I'm just confused on the liquidity. This has 1.7, but the market cap is 198. RIPVC has 600K liquidity at 3.6. Did they put the fees in the liquidity until the person pulls it out? Is that how it works on Meteora?
No.
I like how you're bringing up RIPVC.
It's RIP space VC, dog.
RIP space VC. Unknown is this it? 3.7.
Yeah.
640K liquidity. Locked. I don't know. It says it's locked and burned.
Okay. Yeah, I was confused when I saw that. I thought maybe I was getting played. I actually have a pretty cool, serious thing to talk about. It's not a troll or anything like that. Because if we look at the meta that we've seen, right, like progressing, we had Pump.Fun, right, Launchpad for meme coins, right? Then we got Virtuals, Launchpad for AI agents, right? Now we have Launchcoin or Believe app, which is a Launchpad for meme coin, not meme coins for like Web 2 startups, right? But we've been seeing a lot of innovation in the like Launchpad space, essentially like tokenizing, and let me pull up the specific tweet that this guy said. But he basically said that there's still a ton of work. Let me share my screen. There's still a ton of work to be had. How can I not share this? I'll just link it to you. I'll just read the tweet. The most obvious area of intersection between crypto and other non-finance fields, be it tech, science, art, music, games, entertainment, or charity, is fundraising plus tokenization. The opportunity is so obvious, yet so few people are working on it. I think this guy's involved or adjacent to Launchcoin, right? But like we've seen this meta like progress, which is essentially trying to figure out these different ways to launch tokenized things, to fund things, et cetera, et cetera. But I just linked you to something that is getting launched this week that I think is really interesting because it's in the vein of this, but it's trying to solve things that in a different way than these existing Launchpads. So I put in the private chat the link to the tweet if you want to pull it up. But essentially how this works is you guys are all familiar with the proof token, right?
Yes.
You could have minted the proof token for like an ETH. you got access to a Discord or whatever, private chat, blah, 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 blah. You also got to mint Moonbirds, which was a massive cook, right?
Mm-hmm.
The issue with how like the proof thing worked though is that the proof token itself was liquid, right? So like someone could have bought proof for an ETH, right? They minted their Moonbirds for free, made a ton on that, and then sold it at the top to someone else for 100 ETH. And now that poor sap that bought it at 100 ETH is like, well, how am I getting value out of this, right? And the value may have already been derived out of the proof ecosystem. So what FundingWorks does is it allows, it's going to be permissioned at first, but eventually permissionless. It allows anyone, any creator to essentially launch a NFT proof-like thing, except it's soulbound. So people cannot trade them, right? But he's going to be launching, the first FundingWorks is going to be for TokenWorks, right? You can put in ETH in, and let's say that once it sells out, he says, hey, this is the value that, you know, the tokens are going to get. You're going to get access to XYZ. Maybe you get airdrops, whatever. The really cool aspect of it is that when the mint sells out, the creator gets 7% of the revenue. The rest of the revenue is locked, invested over time. So at any point in time, you can burn your soulbound NFT and get the ETH back. So what it allows you to do is it allows you to fund cool ideas, projects, art, gaming, whatever, and not have that like counterparty risk of what if this person disappears, or what if this person rugs, or what if this artist decides they don't want to make art anymore and they give up, right? It basically has a vesting mechanism that the users can pull out of at any time. So I think the cool thing about this is a lot of these things like Believe app and virtuals and stuff like that, they're trying to figure out how to get value to creators to do interesting things. But they all put it on this either a bonding curve or like a typical meme coin curve. And the tricky thing about like a meme coin curve is like how outside of Believe has the fees, but for a lot of these other things, how is the person, the creator or whatever, supposed to make money off of it? They're not making money off of it unless they sell some of their own token or whatever. This is just a way more direct funding model, right? Where there's no secondary speculation or anything like that. So let's say there's a cool new gaming project and someone has a really good idea. They've launched it and they say, hey, in 2 months, we're going to do the mint for the game, right? And then 2 months after that, we're going to launch the beta for a game. And you're like, this is a really cool idea. I don't know this person. He doesn't have a lot of social proof or trust or whatever, but I like the idea. You can buy an NFT, put money in via TokenWorks, right? Maybe now you get a free mint for the gaming mint, right? And then maybe you get early access to the beta. But let's say 4 months in, the person's like, the beta is going to take another 6 months. You can be like, fuck this. I'm just going to burn my soulbound NFT. And you get your money back, and you're going to lose a little bit of money, right? But you're not like all in. So it's not equity, right? But it's sort of like a lot of people last year were writing these seed checks, right? For like TGEs, and like half of the TGEs haven't happened, blah, 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 right? And your money's just locked in there. You can't get it out whatsoever, right? Versus with this model, you can fund interesting projects, interesting ideas, sort of like a Kickstarter model or something like that, but permissionlessly via the smart contract. At any point in time, you can be like, hey, this guy isn't producing what I thought he was. I'm going to get my money out. So I think it like reduces the downside of funding interesting ideas while keeping the upside still there. So I think he's going to launch the first FundingWorks project is going to be for Adam's company, TokenWorks. And he hasn't said what kind of value you'll get from it, but I'm assuming it's going to be like a proof style thing.
Yeah, it looks like 250 NFTs for 1 ETH each. Funding period of 1 year.
Yeah, so it's a funding period of 1 year. So you can put an ETH in, and if 2 months later you don't really like it, you can just pull your money out and you'll get like 0.8 ETH back. But Adam's a very big mover in the space. So I wouldn't be surprised if you put it in an ETH and you find yourself getting way more value than that. over the course of the year. But I really like this because I think it's like a truly interesting innovation in the space. Like he said, for example, right? Like remember Ben.eth back in the day, right?
Yep.
So Ben.eth could have launched, he could have said, I'm going to make like a bunch of meme coins and you're going to get free airdrops if you buy into this NFT project, right? And that'd be a way safer way to give Ben money. And if Ben just disappeared on your ass, you can pull it out. So we got a lot of cool things happening, but a lot of them are like super speculation focused. I think these are like one of these really cool ideas, innovative ideas that's only possible due to smart contracts. And I'd keep an eye on it because I think just minting the one that he's launching is interesting. And then he's going to start letting other creators, projects, etc., launch things on here. So I think it's an interesting thing to keep tabs on.
Did you sign up for this allow list?
Yes.
Are you minting?
Yeah, I'm going to mint one for sure.
Okay.
I think it's cool. Once again, here's the thing. Like the risk reward isn't there. Like if Adam just, doesn't do anything in 3 months, I'll just get 0.75 ETH back or whatever. I doubt that's the case, but that's why I think this is just a cool model. Some people try to do things, remember with NFTs where they like, you could burn the NFT and get like 80% back. I think they were doing some stuff on that on Solana, right? But it sort of like that, but I think it's a cool model. So I'm going to be keeping tabs on it.
Yeah, I'll take a look. If I'm around for public, maybe I'll dive into this. This looks interesting. Have you been playing with virtuals at all? Have you been paying attention to the new system? I
have not, but I'm a big fan of the system. I think in like a really cool way, they are solving the big problem with Launchpads, which is snipers, botters, right? Bundles, all of that. So I think that what they did is really cool, and I think it's innovative. And I think what you'll see stuff like the Believe app copy this, right? Because I'm sure all of the things launching on the Believe app are getting sniped, botted to hell. So all of these snipers and botters are making the vast majority of the money. I would not be surprised to see stuff like the Believe app be like, hey, if you hold or stake Launchcoin, then you get early access to buy into all of like the new things dropping. And that way your community actually gets the upside, not botters, extractors, snipers, etc. I do think like virtuals, just like Believe, just like anything, is dependent on interesting new things to continually come out in order to support it, right? So I'm not bearish on virtuals by any means. One of the best trades you could have gotten at the bottom, clean 4x on a great company, and then you could have staked it and got access to all these other things. I just think same as like November, once all the good ideas kind of run out and there's less new things minting, you probably get some sort of slowdown. I don't know when that's going to happen. And once again, that's not FUD. This was a phenomenal trade. I unfortunately didn't get in it, but there was lots of opportunities to get back into virtuals. I think it's probably the best AI reentry trade in terms of the majors.
So I really just started with this earlier this week. Just for like context here on the returns that these launches are showing. Like I didn't have a ton of points. Like people have like a ton of points. I think I came in with 3,000 points. So I'm looking at their dashboard now. Essentially how it works is like there's these live agents that launch. When they go live, it tells you like how many people are subscribed to it. You can click on them. It'll tell you like what it is, etc. My strategy has basically just been doing anything that's been like oversubscribed by a decent amount, just putting in max points and max virtual to like get in. So just like basically only playing like, hey, there's hype behind this project. So looking at these, like I don't have a ton of points because I wasn't staking Vader originally. I wasn't staking my trust. I sold a lot of my agents previously and I wasn't doing the daily claim. So like I definitely could have maximized this more, but like, so virtuals at $2. I mean, I was only able to get $1 into the roast, or like one virtual into the roast launch. So that one virtual, looking at that, 18x on that. So like anybody who had bigger size awesome. There, 18x on that. Today, AXR dropped. I got a little bit more into this one. I think I put in like 4 or 5 virtual into this one. I think it's worth like 250 virtual. So like $500 almost clean on this from not a ton of points on because there's so much like oversubscription. Yeah, 240 virtual on this from an initial.
You got 240 virtual?
Yeah, I could sell my bag right now for 240 virtual. And I put in 1.5. So
Damn,
like
that's a big one.
these things are like absolutely cooking. And I didn't realize that until like this one, like double checking these, absolutely cooking. The way to like earn points is to like participate in these launches. So like I'm earning more points by going in. If you sell, it slashes you. So it's basically incentivizing these charts to hold to a certain point. It is a Ponzi game, but right now I still think this is under traded in terms of just looking at like oversubscribed AI launches and doing this. Getting into these. Another one, GPT Wars, GPT WAI. I put in almost 8 virtual here. I'll take a look at this one to see like what that's worth. But all of these had printed multiples on launches, and it was just basically max allocate points, max allocate virtual, and just let it do its thing. Yeah, website's kind of buggy still. But then they also announced yesterday that they're doing virtual staking. So you can stake your actual virtual, and there are rewards that like there's like a special reward for staking it within the first 24 hours. There's different levels of lockup. So like there's something else coming from virtuals that I'm like interested to see. I don't know what it is. Like this airdrop's going to be interesting. Let me bring up the let's see. Oh, okay. So maybe that's what happened. That's why that AXR token was so high of a return. I staked virtual and I got additional AXR tokens like 2 minutes ago.
Nice.
For staking virtuals, locking it up. Interesting. Yeah, so I mean, there's a ton of stuff going on in virtuals. Pay attention. Look at some of like the leaders in the space. Look at OX Darren. Look at Sammy, ICO Beast. Follow them for this because I still think there is meat on the bone on this trade. It might not be like virtuals as like the currency, maybe just exploring the ecosystem, earning points. You can also tweet to earn points. So it's just definitely an ecosystem to pay attention to. Even with low capital, you can kind of like build a bit of like a bag there, stack points, etc.
And I think they've shown they've been innovating like the Launchpad in a really good way. Like, you know what I mean? Like from November till today, they've fixed problems. They've made like they're doing good things. I'm really impressed.
Yeah. Risk saying also follow DJ Ape. That's another good one. Where is he sharing like trust information? I'm holding some trust still. Does he have a Telegram still, Risk? If you could just send me that info, I'd love to know more so I can kind of jump in and dive deeper. But I'm really paying attention to virtuals. That's probably the number one thing I'm paying attention to in addition to this believe in terms of like interesting things like with alts right now. All right, we'll reset a little bit. We've got a lot to talk about still. A couple minutes left on the show. I want to run through some of the quick hitters on the day, and we can jump into any of these that seem interesting. Solana released a 26-page paper on internet capital markets yesterday. Good timing there.
Dude, those guys did wizards from the future, maybe. But yeah, that's why when Adam, who I'm friends with, was launching like Funding Works, I'm like, you're on the right timing with things, right? Like if you see all of these launch pads, Frank and Thread Guy were saying internet capital markets in November. They were kind of maybe saw the potential before it was really being realized. Now we have the Believe app. Now we have Solana talking about internet capital markets on chain. A lot of people talking about like stocks coming on chain. I would just say the tricky thing about stocks, what people don't realize, like that doesn't mean like some guy from Bahrain can just ape into US stocks. Those are all going to be KYC. That's a legal thing, right? That way, like, you know, Iran can't buy a bunch of stocks. But still cool regardless.
Decentralization.
I'm for it. I'm for it, dude. If anything, these internet capital markets, you know what, like really pissed me off the other day, guys? Back in the early 2000s, so and before 90s, 80s, whatever, so many good companies, they launched publicly early. And like average retail investors had a chance to get into really great companies at really cheap prices. Like Netflix right now, what's Netflix at? It's at $1,000 a share, $1,100 a share. You know what you could have bought it when they IPO'd? 78 cents. That's literally in 1,000x. You could have bought it for 78 cents back when they were mailing you DVDs in the early 2000s, right? VCs literally have taken all of this value away from the public markets, right? They basically, yes, they're funding these companies, but they basically want to get these companies to such a high valuation that there's only so much cream on the crop, whatever that saying is, by the time that it gets to the public markets. And I mean, there's still good trades on the public markets. I'm not saying that, but retail investors have been locked out of like so much value, I feel like. And I think that's why a lot of people like crypto, right? Because crypto is like the only place that you can get into a thing that could be worth $1 billion and get into it under $1 million or under 10 million or under 100 million, right? There's no chance for a normal retail investor. You couldn't get into Cursor, OpenAI, Anthropic, right? You couldn't buy any of these great ideas sub $10 million, but in crypto you can. So I love this whole idea of internet capital markets and all of these things that we're seeing, because the reason why we all love crypto is because like we as the normies have a chance to make a lot of money by getting into something early that we believe in, you know?
Yeah, 100% agree. I think like honestly, yeah, that's what drove me to crypto too. It's just like the ability to invest early, find inefficiencies in the market and have the opportunity to capitalize on them. You may say like this for like, oh, that's a cool IPO that's coming out. I would have loved to get in that early. I saw that has potential, but you just never had the opportunity to do it.
You didn't.
Nope.
And like you can't, like I looked around on Cursor, right? Because I was using Cursor in November, even earlier, maybe September, maybe even early, like 2021. No, I'm kidding. And their market cap at that time, or their valuation was $2 billion, right? They raised 2 months ago at $10 billion. They're probably worth 15 now, right? Yeah, but I can't, there's no secondary shares even available because there's some websites where you can buy secondary shares. It's impossible. No one wants to sell them. But it's just so annoying to like see an awesome opportunity or an idea and be like, I would have put a shit ton of money in on that. That's how much I believed in it. But I'm locked out of the markets. And it's bullshit, to be honest. Because they say we're not accredited investors. I mean, I technically am. But I don't have the deal flow to get into any of this good shit. But it sucks, dude. It really sucks, man. And that's why I think if we can get more of these companies and interesting things launching like on chain where anyone can get in, that's a really exciting future for me, because you know I'm pissed I couldn't get into Cursor, dude. It's bullshit.
Yeah, you have stuff like Kobe's Echo solving for that for like the little guy for the crypto stuff too, which is interesting. You can get
How's that work?
He just has small rate, like small check size, crowdfunded VC for Echo with Kobe.
Okay, but is it like all crypto stuff?
It's all crypto stuff, yeah, I believe.
Gotcha.
Yeah. More quick hitters though. DeFi DevCore purchased $23.6 million of Solana, the previously known as Janover. They're up nicely on the day. Easy. Got to be happy about DeFi DevCore.
Finally, we needed the win.
Look at this chart. Damn, I have the weekly up. 94.51, up only on the weekly.
We needed the win. Send it to $500. The micro strategy of Solana.
$150 million market cap. Does this go to $1 billion?
That'd be sick.
That would be sick. We've been covering this one. We also talked about Cantor earlier. I'm curious to see what they did. Jack Maller's company, sitting at $31, up 6% from yesterday. Acquiring Bitcoin. This is at a $403 million market cap. So a 4x of Janover, basically trying to run the MicroStrategy playbook, but more efficiently. This one is interesting to me for sure. I'm very much considering pulling the trigger on some Cantor as well. Moving on with the news, though, we saw CPI reports come in below estimates yesterday, slightly below estimates. Inflation cooling a bit, and now we're looking at Fed rate cuts. Forecast 2 rate cuts this year. So this was up at 4 at one point. Now we're looking at 2 rate cuts. A couple banks came out saying like we might not see rate cuts till December now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like this is like continuous.
The one thing I'm a little concerned about, Ray, is just if you like we just had everything rip like so much, right? Like huge rallies off the lows, a lot of things getting back to like essentially their monthly moving averages. And but the issue is, and I definitely sell too early or maybe try to be too contrarian on things, and that's a flaw of mine. But our like what were like the good news that we were like waiting for, right? Like the biggest piece of good news that we were waiting for was China de-escalation, and we got that, you know, and it's like what else is there other than just companies continuing to do well?
Russia-Ukraine ceasefire.
Yeah, but does that like impact the stock market positively? I'm not sure. Maybe.
I think it does. I think we see another leg up if we get that.
Yeah, you could be right.
But outside of that, and like we're going to see talks tomorrow, I believe, potentially between Putin and Zelensky. But no, yeah, Easy said the same thing. He's like, we've exhausted the good news.
Yeah.
So like, and he was calling for a pullback. I think you're saying like 96K range on Bitcoin.
Yeah. That wouldn't be too terribly surprising.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. We kind of like lost the rate cuts, positive news.
Yeah, but that's in my head, that was going to be like the next big positive news that would have came out, right? Would have been like, okay, awesome. We're getting a bunch of like, we're going to get a fat rate cut in, right? Because like that would help the housing markets. That would help businesses be able to like refinance debt and get like capital, right, efficiently. And now it's seeming like, once again, because the market's pumped and everything like seems good, and the recession case is down, now we're not going to get rate cuts anymore, right? When we were going to have 4 and maybe 1 in coming up in the next month or so. Now people are saying not until December. So we've like exhausted lots of the good news. Yes, we do have other trade deals that like could come in and stuff like that, right? We also have the overhang of a lot of 90-day pauses, especially like a 90-day pause with China. That's not guaranteed, right? Both parties are very good at like being like, oh yeah, let's make a deal, right? And the next thing you know, you hear like 45 days from now, China's like, fuck you, you know, or the US is like, fuck you to China's offer. Not saying I'm bearish, right? Or that we'll see new lows from what we previously saw, right? So if you bought in, if you got good buys in, like you can definitely stomach a little bit of a pullback or a dip. But Easy said, I like to rant. Easy said it the best, just saying, you know, we've exhausted the good news, right? And we may just be back to reality, which is still 10% tariffs across the board is going to, you know, hamper some U.S. economic activity, even at that lower level. We also may have a temporary lag effect with all of the shipping containers that didn't do shit for 30 days from China, right? Like that's, you know, we live in a very fast moving economy. People don't have a lot of inventory in stock, right? So you get a little shock from that. I don't know. I'm not like selling my ETH at the top. I did on my chart say the local top on ETH was $2,700, and we pinged it perfectly because on the monthly that's the moving average was $2,700. But yeah, if you're a super trader mindset kind of person, it's not crazy to think that you would be selling a lot of your big run ups and maybe getting like a 50% peak to trough retracement. So not all the way back down to the bottom, but you know, you get ETH back down to 2,200 or something, or, you know, stuff like that. I wouldn't be shocked if that was to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think the one thing is like I said, peace talks tomorrow. And I think if we don't hear much,
you're a big peace guy, huh?
I love some peace.
Me too, dude. It's a shame that like pretty much like all these Ukrainian men just died and Russian men for nothing.
Yeah. I mean, like world peace. I mean, Bitcoin puppet Maxi, what do you think? Obviously I love peace. Bitcoin puppets, they run on a peace treaty, right?
Yep.
Have you seen the Ordinals run, Kicks?
If you can call it that, yeah, for sure.
If you can call it that. Puppets up 97% on the week.
Yeah,
Back
that's awesome,
LMP
man.
44. Taproot Wizards above mint price now. No Monkeys up 36.
That's good.
Ladies up 64%.
I'm happy for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting to see. I'm happy. I'm a happy Ordinals holder now. I'm now above water on Ordinals, which feels good, which means it's probably time to sell.
I've never heard that before. Overwater.
Yeah, over water. Not above water. We're over the water. We're doing the Jesus walk on it.
You're doing so damn good, man.
Little do these guys know that Ben Pasternak is actually an alter ego I created using advanced AI techniques a year and a half ago. This is my retirement play, and nobody has a fucking clue. I'm gonna make so much money off these idiots.
In other news,
that was the last one I had, so I had to use it before then. Yeah.
In other news, Semler Scientific bought some more Bitcoin. Medical device company acquired another $17.8 million of Bitcoin. They're sitting at $330 market, or $330 million market cap.
When you use their pap smear clamps, you earn Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. It's unreal. It's holding their treasury in Bitcoin. Another one of the companies who's doing this, but they're not like really like doing the debt and raise option. I think they're just putting like excess cash in the Bitcoin and holding it there. Some last but not least, some NFT news. We saw Refik Anadol, big art sale yesterday. Sold out 1,000 Biolumina NFTs, $5,000 a piece, straight $5 million. Is sold out in 20 minutes. The NFTs were trading above floor, 60% gain, 3.2 ETH floor. Early trading yesterday. Anadol's a pretty well-established NFT artist. I'm going to take a look at see where these are at now. What are we looking for? We're looking for Biolumina.
Bioluminescence, which is actually how plants eat. For people that don't know.
Get 3 ETH floor on these, 2.8 ETH offer. So these have been cooking. We also saw yesterday there was an Ethos airdrop. So if you've been paying attention to Ethos, and you were somebody who was clicking buttons daily, all you had to do was go into Ethos and click a button for 2 minutes daily. You would have gotten airdropped one of these. I was just outside the top 250. I missed this airdrop because I stopped clicking about a month ago. If I was clicking those buttons, I would have easily been in here. This is a 2.8 ETH floor on this airdrop that was airdropped to 250 people. It has a top offer of 2.4 ETH. So a nice little cash out there from the Ethos market. We got SERP over there doing reputation on chain. So that one's interesting. I think people are speculating on it in a similar vein to Kaido. Ethos is to reputation as Kaido is to mindshare. It's kind of the comparison there. Last but not least, Doodles launched a London-based music studio. They're all over the place after launching their Dude token. It's called Take Your Medicine, launched last week. Creative music studio and label, which bridges the gap between the worlds of commercial music and advertising. Doodles are down another 5% on the day to 1.2 ETH. It's down 66% on the week due to their Dude token launch. Looking in at the Dude token, I haven't checked this in the last couple of days. Looks like it's sitting at a $44 million market cap, 56 million FDV. I think this is pretty much where it bottomed on day one, and it's kind of just been holding. Yeah, it's still kind of down only. Doodles used to be like a blue chip NFT. Was it only that way because the token was overhanging? Like, is this just a grind to zero at this point?
Yeah. Tough. I don't really know the answer. I guess if like, I mean, I looked at the chart. The chart the Doodles chart looks like surprisingly good for a while. Like it was multiple ETH for a while. I think a lot of people just really like the art and the community and the vibes. But yeah, if you pull up the chart, I guess you only can see the monthly on here. Blur. Remember that, dude? Remember Blur, dude?
Yeah, I do. Just looking at the Blur token yesterday, there's only like 20K of liquidity on that token, which is wild.
No way. I guess more of it's maybe off chain. But yeah, if you look at all time, I guess the pump was more recent than I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
like it had that, right? But that like everything pumped when that happened. And then it had like the Trump pump. But But yeah, I guess you could say it had been trending up with like people expecting the token, or maybe people don't like the new direction of where it's going.
Yeah, after Pudgy's dropped in December, they ran up to almost 7 ETH.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, it's been a successful project for a while. Like, if you top on it, it wasn't. But I mean, it's still a win. I think it was really cool, iconic art. I just think it's, at the end of the day, we're still in a startup space with a lot of these things, right? And it's rare for startups to make it past 2 years, right? And then it's rare for companies in general to make it past 4 or 5 years. Like, you're trying to pick things that really can stand the test of time. One thing I've been really impressed with is the ape floor, Bored Ape Yacht Club, and it's so quiet on that. But I think they must have came down too.
12.2
Pudgy's ran.
12.2 is still pretty impressive to me.
I thought they were like at 16 or something.
They were at 14 a week ago. The 30-day. Yeah, I mean, they've been at 14
for a while. Yeah, I'm just hallucinating.
Yeah, the thing with like NFT projects is like you almost need like two things that are different and not related. A is like initial hype and go to market on it on the launch, and then product market fit on whatever you do afterwards. And you need to hit like both of those jackpots to have something that's going to be successful. And like the only one that I would say is like, well, maybe there's two. I think Apes like are still in the boat of making it happen, potentially, depending on like what they can launch in terms of like the other side gaming stuff, and Pudgy's in terms of like general IP and like storytelling. Like I think everything else, like I just don't see potential product market fit coming from any of like the other quote unquote blue chip NFT projects from 2021.
And if you do the percentages, it probably lines up with a lot of normal startups, right? Like you get two big winners in a space out of hundreds or thousands of, attempts. Also, like we're kind of in the trough of disillusionment. You ever seen that chart, right? With like technology, right? Where people get like super excited about it, and it like the interest and optimism pumps really high. And then you go into a trough of disillusionment. I don't know why I can't say the word. And then it like goes into real breakaway adoption. So it would make sense that like last cycle NFTs, it was like the euphoria cycle, right? And then this cycle is like the reality cycle, and it's kind of people are negative, depressed, blah, 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 right? Yeah, there we go. And then we may be heading towards the slope of enlightenment. The peak of inflated expectations, that was the metaverse drop by Bored Ape Yacht Club. Other deeds, right? That was the peak of inflated expectations.
That or the ape token, where they were like 175 ETH, like dropping like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then held the floor after the airdrop. Like that was a nutso thing.
I remember my buddy I gave him half the ETH to mint the other deed because he was short.
Mm-hmm.
And he minted and got a coda.
Yeah, let's go.
And it was $100,000. I was like, dude, we should chop this up for 50. He's like, what if it goes higher? We haven't talked about it since.
Oh no, you still have it?
It's in his wallet.
He still has it?
I'm certain of it.
Oh, I sold mine day one when I got a coda. Day one.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart. There's a lot of smart people that are saying to sell it all.
That was one reveal where I actually celebrated. I got up, I started running around the house.
I still remember, you remember the mega codas, right?
Yeah. Yep.
They did something with the mega codas where they were sequentially ordered in some sort of way with like the token ID or something like that. And I found one that the person didn't know was a mega coda, and it was a mega coda. And they had it listed for like 30 grand or something like that. And I didn't pull the trigger on it, and then it sold for like $400,000.
Oh,
it was one of the mega codas.
I know somebody who revealed one. He's still
that's sick.
Still holding it.
Oh, that really sucks. Yeah, I'm happy for my reveals. I got super lucky on Mutant Ape Yacht Club. That was my biggest single win of all time. So you got to be happy whenever you get your wins, even if they're not all the time.
We've been running through.
Let's give a little round of applause to Easy for not only having the conviction in Launchcoin at 5.5 million, but then sharing it to all of the bodagos with not just sharing a ticker and saying, I'm interested in this, sharing take profits, sharing his thesis, sharing his conviction. What a Chad, sharing the bread with the rest of the tribe. My man, dude.
Big win.
Big fucking win, dude. I'll tell you what, dude.
God, I just know that easy guy absolutely made a shit ton of money off of Launchcoin. I'm straight as a whistle, but fuck, if that guy was gay, I'd be tempted.
I just had to run that one once more just because I love my boy Easy, man.
And that's going to do it for today's show.
Sorry.
Thank you for joining us.
Let's end. I was going to say, I love him despite he told me that my golf drive looks like a polio victim.
I've got a hard stop. I got to get out of here. Thank you all for joining us. It's been a wonderful Wednesday. We had a ton of fun. Catch us on all podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple. Watch us back on YouTube. See what we're talking about. See what we're showing up on the screen. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful Tuesday.